Thanks to you, Palesa. Now, the Police and Prisons Civil Rights Union, Popcru, has dismissed the allegations that one of its officials had been involved in taking kickbacks from the Bosasa Operations in order to oil the wheels for the group's companies to be awarded lucrative contracts in the Department of Correctional Services. This comes after former Bosasa Chief Operations Officer Angelo Agrizzi testified at the Zondo Commission of Inquiry on Wednesday that a former Popcru General Secretary identified only as SBU, together with high-ranking officials from the department, were paid R1 million bribe every month from 2007. Richard Mamabolo from Popcru joins us now. Thanks very much for joining us. Welcome to the program.
Good afternoon to you.
So was it a surprise that Popcru and a name of SBU was mentioned by Angelo Agrizzi?
No, definitely it was a surprise because I think Popcru has never had any form of relationships with Bosasa. We have never mandated anyone from Popcru to meet with Bosasa. And of course, we have been one of the most critics since back then when the tenderization process started within the DCS to say that we do not believe in tenderization. And of course, when the deals did go ahead, we had complained. In fact, that led to us losing about 540 members who were dismissed by the Department of Correctional Services. So we as well, I think it's quite important to mention that we have never had any official, regardless of the General Secretary, any official called SBU or Sibusiso or any of those names likened to that name.
Is it possible that there might have been an official in Popcru that might have been involved in things without your knowledge?
Look, it would have been impossible really, because you remember that at that time Popcru was very clear about its position around tenderization, and of course I think no official of Bosasa would have agreed to meet anybody from Popcru because it was at the time where we were extensively fighting also with the department as well. So no one from the officials could think that an individual could take decisions on behalf of an organization as big as Popcru. But then again, I think one of the things that obviously we would want to know is that we have written a letter to the commission just yesterday. We want to know who this person who claims to have been the General Secretary of Popcru is.
Were you ever concerned or suspected or thought that Linda Mti might have been involved in anything as Popcru?
We have always openly said that him being the commissioner at the time, he was involved. We have made it clear since then that we are not happy about the process of tenderization, and we think there are obviously malfunctions within it as well. So Linda Mti knows our stance back from then. We have never hidden it, and we've always taken the Department of Correctional Services head on. Part of the challenges that we continue to face up to today are as a remnant of the challenges that were out of this agreement between Bosasa and the department. And we think that we look, regardless of whether people are named and claiming to be our members or not, what we want to say at the end of the day is that everybody who has been taking money, bribes, should obviously be taken to account. And of course, I think we think that this opportunity brings about a good chance to actually really discuss the real challenges of the Department of Correctional Services.
Do you think that this is a complete falsehood, or do you think that Angelo Agrizzi did pay someone he believed worked for Popcru?
There are certain things that we think did definitely happen, but with regards to somebody claiming to be a Popcru leader, that we do not believe. That could not have been the case at the time. As I said, that it was around the time where we were fiercely fighting with the department and Bosasa. What could have happened is that there could have been somebody who came into that meeting claiming that, falsely claiming that they've got the buy-in of Popcru, and introduced someone who is definitely not part of the leadership of Popcru and who has never been part of the leadership of Popcru, to claim that they've got a buy-in from Popcru. But Popcru has never ever mandated anyone or have had any discussions with Bosasa.
All right, so categorically you can state Popcru as an organization and its leadership have never received any funds from Bosasa directly or indirectly?
Precisely.
All right, so what are you going to do now? Are you going to make representations at the state capitol?
Look, we've already written a letter. Well, that is in line with what has been mentioned about Popcru, but we think there should be further investigations, and of course, everybody who is to be held accountable by the outcomes of those should be held accountable, regardless of whether they were close with Popcru or not. What we want is to see a different Department of Correctional Services that focuses on its core mandate, which is to rehabilitate, because there has not been any rehabilitation happening over the past years.
But Popcru members are not free of corruption, though, are they? I mean, just now we had Operation Vala, and we see all of this contraband that's in the prison system, which means some of your members have been involved in some kind of corruption.
Hence, we are saying that if anybody is held accountable for any wrongdoing, they should be held accountable, regardless of whether they're Popcru members or not. But in this instance, we have never had any general secretary by the name of SBU. Popcru has never mandated any individual to represent them with whatever meetings that had been going on. And of course, we have never officially or unofficially held any meeting with Bosasa.
All right. So again, I keep on saying it may have happened without your knowledge.
Highly unlikely.
Highly unlikely. So Popcru disassociates from this statement completely. All right. Richard Mamabolo, thanks very much indeed for joining us and giving us some clarity in terms of Popcru's version of what might have happened in 2007.